it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
With us himself on the Mick and Rick show is Gene, the legend, Granger, king of Summer League basketball, GBL tournaments, GBL Girls Online, GBL International, GBL in Hong Kong, and McClay Basketball. Welcome to us again, friend of the program, Gene Granger.
Pleasure, as always. Thank you for having me.
It's always our pleasure to have you on and all the many, many things you do relative to basketball. We see your son out there, biggest fourth grader in the city, playing in the summer league, going down posting people up on the block. That's one way to get a big man, create one.
He takes after his grandfather.
Yes, sir. Real outgoing, personable, outgoing kid there.
Yes.
We're trying to get Rick on. He's having some trouble, kind of like ESPN. So we're trying to get him on and off and trying to get himself going. But we're really glad to have you on, and we're just going to fit you in and run down the program.
Sounds good.
All right, Coach, we got you squared away, all the way out to the edge of the sidewalk there. Coming on around. Let me zoom out as much as I can. But we're looking good in the front. Let me whip you around. And you can see where it's starting to dry. That's what it's pretty much gonna look like as we keep going. Take you down sidewalk there. That's pretty much what you'll be looking at. Now you got some water here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Earl Hankerson doing what he does. We appreciate that. Man, we got to go up. I know we probably Sports Diva want to know where's Stephen A. Where's Rick? Boy, Sports Diva be on him, boys. She be on him. One of the things that we kind of happy about right now is the fact that we have so many of our local kids that are doing stuff. We know a lot of them in the transfer portal, but we got a lot of these guys that are doing really good area-wide, getting picked up to play a little football, a little pro football. And we have some things here we want to show. We're really going down in the Tampa area. INSiiGHTS is doing some football games in the Polk County area. So we have something that Rick put together.
Hey, this is the reporter Rick Brown here, and I'm here with Quentin Boatwright, former linebacker coach at Lake Gibson High School. And today, Coach Boatwright here has been dancing a little bit, I'm sure, after he heard one of his former players got drafted. Tell me, man, did you think Tyrese Knight would be where he is right now?
Honestly, Mr. Rick, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I did as a sophomore. I remember him just playing JV ball, and I remember we had DJ Brown, AJ DeShazier Jr. and Noah Johnson. They were the starters when I got there, and so whenever DJ graduated, Tyree just stepped right on in, man, and it was nothing left off from there, man. So I had him for 3 years. And so that year that we went to state, man, and lost, it was a phenomenal year, man. I knew it from the beginning, though. And seeing he was a hard-nosed kid, hard worker. And I just knew from the jump, man, he will be there. So proud of him.
Coach, you've seen a lot of good linebackers. I mean, good linebackers. But what made him stand out?
Tyree's just his work ethic. He just work hard. He come to practice every day. He never missed practice. First one in the building, last one out the building. Great kid. The home life was great. His mother did a phenomenal job of raising him. So I commend her. I commend his family, for being a support system. And I just knew it from the jump, man. Tyrese was a heck of a ball player.
That is pretty awesome. Now he went to UTEP and did his thing up there. He was an All-American at Lake Gibson. Let me put that All-State at Lake Gibson. Let me put that out there as well.
Right.
Coach, when you heard his name called, when you heard the news that he was drafted, just talk about the pride not only for you but for Brave Nation.
Oh man, just be honest, man. I was just happy for the kid, man. He took his own journey. Man, I was proud of him. I know that, his parents were proud of him. I just know for a fact when I was looking at the draft and heard his name, it was just, a big smile, man. I texted him and told him, man, congratulations. I told him basically, hey man, listen, he got to be an impact right away. You got to go in and be an impact right away, and that's how you stand on, having a legacy and leaving a legacy. So I was very proud.
Yeah, and for y'all who don't know, he went in the 4th round to the Seattle Seahawks, who lost a bunch of linebackers, so he will have a shot at not only making the 53, but for to make a difference on there. And what we hope to do this year is to bring insight to you crowd of Polk County athletes, some games, and get to know the players and coaches behind the athletes to show you that Polk County is the real deal.
Yeah, that's something that Rick is doing. He's putting insights in Polk County and trying to expose some of their athletic programs like we've done here in the Panhandle and South Georgia. And to have a kid out of the area go in the 4th round, that's pretty good, Coach.
That's great. That's great. I met Rick when I was at Florida Southern as a coach, and in Lakeland, that was he was one of the reporters for Florida Southern basketball, and he's always represented that Polk County area well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to him doing something in that area. And in the meantime, we got something for the kids that you know.
High school star and former player for Corey Fuller got drafted from Troy State. Javon Solomon got drafted by the Buffalo Bills. The Bills needed an edge rusher to bolster their roster, and they selected him in the 5th round. He watched and celebrated at home in Tallahassee, repping the 850. Corey Fuller saw 2 of his former Godby players drafted Saturday in Solomon and Jalen Key by the New York Jets in the 7th round. Key was this year's Mr. Irrelevant as the last player selected in the 7-round draft. The 2 of them helped turn around the Godby Cougars football program, leading it to the Class 5A regional semifinals in 2018. Congratulations, Godby High School, and Corey Fuller, still with his fingerprints on these kids and making a difference in their life. Solomon, 6'2", 295, had a nation-best 16 sacks last year and finished his career with a school record 33. Congratulations to both of those young men from Godby. Rep the 850.
Dallas Turner, linebacker, Alabama.
So Dallas Turner, who sacked J.J. McCarthy in the Rose Bowl, is coming out of the green room right now to be a teammate of J.J.'s. And the edge rusher from Alabama, who many people penciled in to go to Georgia 8th overall as the first defensive player taken, is now coming out of the green room as the third defensive player taken in a row after 14 offensive players started our night.
This tells you what type of night it's been. In the back of my mind, I assume Dallas Turner's gone.
Already gone.
I didn't even have, we're going and looking at names. I'm thinking, okay, who's going to be there for him? And I got to go all the way up to the very top of the edge rusher list. They're the #1 edge rusher in the draft, and they're able to reel him in as well as getting their quarterback. That's a job well done.
Yeah, I thought the same thing too, which is why I mentioned his teammate and Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
Right church, wrong pew. He is coming out and holding up a purple jersey to, we're assuming, complete the Minnesota Vikings night. They came in with 2 first-round draft choices. They used them, but not in the spots where they originally had them. 2 draft trades tonight. It's Minnesota moving up twice, and Dallas Turner's the guy now.
He's going to get a chance to play on a fast track there in that dome as well. Brian Burns, think about the juice, the burst, the get-off that he has. He's now a New York Giant. Dallas Turner, similar type of player. Ridiculous length. I mean, he's got rare arm length. Uses those arms to be able to reel guys in. He's got tremendous lateral range. The take-on, to me, was fine. Some teams had a concern with it. I didn't have an issue with it. He's able to hold his ground, take on blocks. You saw it there. That inside long arm working against Georgia, that's his calling card as a rusher. Able to pry that shoulder open and then get inside. And then once he gets to the high side of the rush, there's that burst and bend to finish CD.
And one thing about Alabama players, as you guys all know, when you played for Nick Saban, it's 4th and 1 every day. All right? That's how they work in practice, how they go. And when you think about what Minnesota's thinking, before we're talking about are the trades for quarterbacks, are the trades for offensive tackles, very few pass rushers left after Latu came off the board. So Minnesota makes the move to go get one. Daniil Hunter now in Houston. And you guys mentioned chasing CJ Stroud in the AFC South. Well, who are you chasing in the NFC North?
Listen to this crowd go wild for you. How do you want to introduce yourself to the city of Detroit?
I just want to say Detroit. Look out. Y'all got to start, man. Hey, I'm home, man. I'm home. Hey, these fans going to be crazy, man. Golly.
The Lions have announced themselves as Super Bowl contenders. What are you going to help this franchise get there?
You already said it. I'm going to help them win a Super Bowl. Listen to that. Hold on. Hey, this amazing, man. We're going to go crazy.
They're going to keep going crazy for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
With all due respect to all the other kids in that green room, if you had given me a choice of a kid to come out of the green room to be drafted by the Lions to address the fans here, I would have chosen him.
We can see why.
He grabbed the mic from Caleb. Let me just answer you by addressing the crowd here. He is just a natural born electric player.
And that's reporter 101. You don't give up the mic.
I know.
And Kaylee is like, for this kid, absolutely.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. And he knows how politely he handed it back to her.
1, 2, talk that talk.
You finally made it. I want to start by telling you how proud I am of the hard work you've put into getting where you are right now, both in the classroom and on the field. You have committed yourself to excellence. But neither of these things impressed me as much as seeing the type of man you've become. As you move into the next chapter of your story, you are proving you have what it takes to be successful. God is honoring your commitment to Him. And I pray you will continue to keep Him at the center of all you do. Thank you for allowing me to speak into your life. I feel so blessed by the relationship we share, and I look forward to walking with you through your NFL journey. Remember, while making it to the NFL is an honor, it isn't your ultimate goal. You can't stop grinding until you are given that golden jacket, the one you can't buy. From great grandma on down, The whole family couldn't be more proud of the work you are doing. Continue to be who you've always been, the one and only Terrion Arnold. I love you, and I'll be here to support you long after your NFL career is over, bro.
Dang. I didn't even think I was gonna cry. It means everything. We always just talk about going out there and leaving a legacy, just being phenomenal, not being forgotten, even being drafted today. It's just another part of the process, another step in the journey. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it takes a lot to get me to cry. Like, this is probably the only thing that could have got me to cry. So, and I mean, it was light tears, but this means everything to me, man. It really does. I just want to say, Pops, like you always said, the best thing that you give your father was a good last name. And with us having the same last name, I want to return that to you. I hope you're proud of me. I just want to continue to go out there every day and just be the young man that you raised me to be, man. And I'm going to get that gold jacket for us. Remember that.
Like us on Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
Man, that was deep.
That was real nice. That was touching, and you could see that meant something to Terrion. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And see, Terrion was a kid that we used to hear the stories about when he was a little boy. How he would be up early in the morning, an hour before school, working out in his room with a little workout thing on YouTube and stuff, and working out and trying to get better and bigger and stronger. He was like 8 and 9, and he was just almost obsessed with doing it. So we were always like, at some point, is this going to really pay off for him? And the one thing that I remember as well was that I thought, Gene, you might remember too, I thought at first he was a basketball player playing football to stay in shape.
Right.
I mean, basketball is what he loved to do. I mean, he liked to go through and try to dunk on you and stuff. And we talk all the time about one of the best games we ever had in basketball was the year Thomasville won the state championship with Reggie Perry, who's the only current local NBA player out of the area. And his team was loaded. He got 2 of those kids. That one was player of the year in his conference last year and coming out early. Another one just got in the transfer portal, leading the team in scoring with 18 points a game as a junior against Florida High, which was loaded. Terrion Arnold, Trey Donaldson, the team that won the state championship with juniors that year. So they played over in Thomasville that year. Man, we got that game up there. It's a go-getter, boy. So the 2 kids from Godby, we actually have their signing day when Corey was at Godby, and it's up there on that signing day. And 2 of those kids got drafted, not free agents, but got drafted.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent in the area, and it's just a matter of grooming and continue to develop, which he's kicking around with.
Rick.
Yeah, Coach. I'm sorry.
And that kid that you did down in Polk County, and you had his coach on there, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was this is actually the second year in a row that Lake Gibson has had a guy drafted. Everyone speaks of Lakeland High, and they've been hands down one of the best programs, not only in Polk County, but in the state. But Lake Gibson, the last 2 years, they have a guy with the Buccaneers, a safety, who got some playing time last year. Is expecting more out of him this year. So I'm gonna have a piece on him in a couple of weeks. I have already spoken to his position coach back from Lake Gibson days. So Polk County's doing it up too.
Yeah, good piece on that, boy. You're gonna bring that county along, Rick. I see that.
Trying to pull him in, Coach. Trying to pull him in.
Sports Diva said that was deep. Grandfather had to say to his grandson, and what grandson had to say to grandfather. That was tight there. Rick, I had to let you see. Sports Diva was asking where was Stephen A.
Ah,
Then she said, "Oh, where's Rick?"
ah. Yeah, cussing out Stephen A. That's what he was doing.
Gina, let me go back to something you were saying about the talent in an area, and especially with it's always been Florida's always been heavy football, but basketball is coming along. Maybe not at the same clip football is, but we're starting to get some pretty good basketball kids. How important is their participation now in summer basketball? With some of them doing this summer leagues and playing on AAU teams and some of how do you perceive that? Because I know you've been busy in that environment. So share some of that with us.
Well, I think you got to have a balance and all of it, because it's gonna consume, part of one thing is it affects the next. And there's rules that you can't, violate within your high school. So the kids have to have an alternative, to continue to develop and play. So you got to have that, but there's opportunity to play every single weekend for these players. It's a matter of each individual person, really mapping out their schedule and their plan. And, it's all out on the table, camps, clinics, tournaments, teams, but you got to have a balance, and you got to know what this season I might just need to be in the weight room. This season I might need to be, focusing on, getting some exposure. This season I might just need to stay in the gym. It's, as you get up through the 8th through 9th grade, it changes, as you get closer to graduating, and seeing where you are realistically, looking at the level at which you're trying to go.
Well, let's go even younger. Talk about your son's age group and my grandson. They're out there, fourth graders, they can't quite even get enough to play on the fourth grade team. So they work out with the fifth graders every day. And for my grandson, that's what he always wanted to do, was say, I always want to play with the big boys. I want to play with the big boys. So that can only make them better at that age, to get out and take the drill work we've been working with them to see how they can start to put it together in competitive situations.
Yeah, I mean, I always think back and reflect to, me, myself, and what I experienced. And we didn't have teams, we didn't have the leagues, and it was so. Yes, it's good to have, because it's structured environment, getting them. I think it's giving them more fundamentals sooner. But we just played, and they. Now there's so much structure that I think it's good. It takes the load off of, some of the kids trying to figure it out, and it gives them some immediate instruction. And, so it's a good, it's not necessary. I say I survived. I managed to play Division I basketball. I managed to play on a good high school team. I managed to live in a geographical area where the recruiting was primarily football. So you still can work. You still can work hard. You still can work hard and get through it. But
in our day coming up, it was different because we played in the park.
Right. There was a lot of free play. There was a lot of,
in a gym. In Cleveland, the gyms were completely closed, and you had to try. I know Rick was in D.C., but you had to go in the park and play. And if you were little, you really didn't get a chance to play, because if you took a basketball, they'd take your basketball, tell you to sit down, and if you wanted to cry about it, they beat you and send you home. And you try to get your ball, and they liable to take your ball, and you go home and talk, what happened to your basketball? Man, I ain't about daddy, they took it. You don't have the ball. So those kids don't even play like that now. You might catch a Rick. You might
That's right.
catch it, but that playground basketball, man. Rick, you up north? We had to shovel the snow to play. If you wanted to play it, to shovel the snow. They used to have trash cans with trash burning them. You go over and warm your hand up real quick and go back out and play.
Well, I won't claim that. It was, but I will say it's good to have them out there, organized and learning. It gives me as a parent opportunity to step back. And I don't want to ever put any pressure on my own children, let alone the players that we coach. It's about them having fun and them learning the most that they can while they're with us. So I get a chance to separate that when my son is out there and he's getting other instruction from good coaches. I got JT Escobar, who played for me, who I also got a chance to train. He's playing with JT, and then he gets to play with Coach Billy August and with Reach One Elite. And Billy was a coach for me, so he's surrounded by people who got I think his best interest in mind, and it's about parents finding that too for their whoever their child or guardian they're trying to find instruction for. Find good people, and that development will happen. It's going to happen naturally. They're growing up. So you just got to continue to shape and mold it as they grow up.
Rick?
I think it's real interesting that you were talking about the differences between the park play and the play in the gym play and the organized play.
Mm-hmm.
You've done both, Gene. Do you have a preference? Do you think that the gym organized play is better now? Is it conducive to the more success of today's players?
Well, we'll see when they get up to me. It's like varsity basketball is, it gets better as the youth basketball is developed, sooner. So like for me, the benefit of being at McClay is being able to connect with those middle schoolers and even knowing some of the elementary students that are coming up and just having that connection. And as you get up through, middle school and JV, you know these players over a period of time, and you get a chance to work with them and develop, because that's what it takes. It takes time. Guys just jumping into a school where it's an all-star high school team. Those are guys that's worked with someone else, and but they've had to work, and so I just think the younger they get some instruction is just correcting things that they are eventually going to correct later. So it's just giving them earlier molding, and as they get older, those gifts will come out. But those things you don't want to over pressure and over force, because a lot of things going to happen with time. It's not going to all happen while they're 8 and while they're 10, and that's it's everything is like in phases. So
Okay. What are some of the things parents need to look for in terms of their sons and daughters participating on certain teams?
It's schedule. I would say what proximity, distance, how far they because practicing is important, and how often and all those things. So it's a lot of decisions that come into it. It's a lot of choices that come into it, and because there's so many options, and just deciding whether or not you're going to do a travel ball versus just train, it's making those choices, and then making a plan for the next season and for the next, because it's going to happen over time, and that you know, and some people decide to play in an organization and stay with it through that whole, you know, and it's always, you know, sometimes it's good to maybe look at different options and different styles. And like I said, maybe not playing, you know, those are, you know, like I said, I didn't play on anything until I played Team Florida, and that was it, you know, and that, you know, but it was going to camps, it was going to college camps. I always encourage going to a college camp on a college campus, you know, and getting to know those coaches and, you know, and doing a lot of that and putting yourself in front of coaches in their environment, you know, and showing them that you know, you've taken an interest in going to their camps and, you know, that those things are good too. There's other ways to you know, to stand out, and, you know, along with being an outstanding student is being you're good on your own high school team. And, you know, those things it just happens over time. You know, you're talking about some things at elementary student and then middle school, then kind of gravitating up. There's just different things that should be priorities. You know, it's hard to play, you know, to travel and play for, you know, a sixth grader every single weekend of every month for 7 months straight. You know, that's it's going to be tiring. It costs a lot. And, you know, you got to have time for breaks. You got to have time for, you know, fun, for children to be children.
All right. Okay. Hold just a minute.
Try our INSiiGHTS mobile apps and have your own personalized content experience with our exclusive content. We developed an interactive experience as easy and diversified as Netflix. You have exclusive features showing access premium features, behind-the-scenes content and programs only available on our mobile apps and our streaming Roku channel. INSiiGHTS apps give you our content in your hands while INSiiGHTS Roku is on your big screen. Locally owned. Globally known. INSiiGHTS.
Join us on Faith TV on INSiiGHTS Roku. Anytime you need to feel the word, that you need uplifting, go to INSiiGHTS YouTube or mobile apps and feel His Spirit lift yours up. Pray with us on Faith TV and allow His Spirit to comfort you. I have been sent to help you find your way. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Faith TV on INSiiGHTS.
Time out. Time out. This is the coach. I'm a part of the INSiiGHTS Mick and Rick show. Now when I can get Rick out of that cup, I get good discussion from him about the hottest sports topics. But we do keep it straight, no chaser. The more he turns that cup up, them words come out faster than a chicken pecking up corn. I'm just saying, or trying to say, what the damn hell? Just join us.
Yeah, Rick, give us a little insight on that piece.
Legacies. The sons are definitely following in their father's footsteps. Some of those fathers were pretty good players, as you could see, from Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens and Jeremiah Trotter. And I know Trotter has to be happy with his son, Jeremiah Trotter Jr., going to the team that he
really balled in. So that I thought that was pretty cool. And then Luke McCaffrey, his brother is the running back that everyone loves at San Francisco. So that whole family, Ed McCaffrey, who was a wide receiver as well, is dynamic. So just the legacy of following in your dad's and in McCaffrey's case, brothers' footsteps, and get into the best football on this planet so far.
Wow. What do you think about that, Gene? That legacy?
I think that's probably one of the biggest gifts, as a parent. You get to see your child, one, be successful, but also you get to kind of guide them in something that you've experienced. So that's fun. That's got to be fun for them.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Rick, did you say at the same program and same team that your father and son played at? The only thing I saw that was a little bit more captivating was the Cowboys last year when Scott was able to call his son and tell him that he had been drafted by the Cowboys. That was pretty sweet too.
Yeah, that even though it was Dallas, that was pretty special. And it has to be. I mean, you as a father, you never want to lay the expectations to your son unless you're trying to live vicariously through them. But to see them, as you guys said, have success and follow and doing the same thing that you're doing, and to go to your same team, oh my goodness, that has to be special. It has to be special.
Reminds me when I told my dad I wanted to pursue coaching, and he said he didn't like the idea. He said, but how can I tell you anything against it when I coach? He said, so I just have to help you and advise you along the way. And when my daughter started coaching and she's at NFC, I told her, I said, boy, you got a hard road there. She said, well, I got you to help me. Poppy helped you, so I expect you to help me.
That's right.
So that's just one of those things. Rick continued on. He has something about the man. You pulling in that Polk County crew, boy. You dangling stuff for him.
Many guys dream of one day playing in the NFL. We have some local guys who will get an opportunity to make those dreams a reality following the 2024 NFL Draft. With the 24th pick in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions selected Tallahassee St. Paul II's own Terrion Arnold out of the University of Alabama. At 6 feet and 196 pounds, Arnold was named an All-American by the Associated Press following his red shirt sophomore season, after finishing tied for the SEC lead in both interceptions and pass breakups. The Lions struggled in the secondary last season and traded up from the 29th pick to select Arnold. They see a guy who doesn't mind lining up in press man coverage and has the speed to hang with the elite receivers. He will play a big role his rookie season and will likely eventually be in the starting lineup. In the fourth round, the Seattle Seahawks selected Lakeland Lake Gibson's Tyrese Knight, linebacker out of the UTEP Miners. A two-time second-team All-Conference USA selection, Knight is a sure tackler who is best going downhill. With all the turnover at linebacker for the Seahawks, Knight will have a chance to make the starting 53 roster. In the fifth round, the Buffalo Bills selected Tallahassee Godby's defensive end Javon Solomon out of Troy.
Alonzo Clayton, a black man, called one of the great riders of the New York circuit, the record as the youngest jockey to ever win the Kentucky Derby. He was most likely born in Mississippi, January 4th, 1876. He was one of 9 children, and his family moved to North Little Rock, Arkansas, where he attended school and worked as a golfer for a hotel and as a shoe shine boy to help support his family. At the age of 12, he left home and made his way to Chicago racetrack, where one of his brothers was a jockey. He was given a job as a stable hand and exercise rider at the stables, and he moved on and ended up becoming a jockey, where in 1890 the 14-year-old began his professional racing or riding career. In May 11th, 1892, he rode Azra to victory in the Kentucky Derby, which at age 15 made him the youngest jockey in history to ever win the Derby. He had a highly, highly successful career as a jockey. His career was not without incident. In October, in a race in the Bronx, he and the horse had a terrible race. Someone said something to him that provoked him, and he hit the spectator across the face with the butt end of his riding whip. He had a fine, but the person he struck ended up suing him, and they settled in civil court. They spent years trying to collect the money from the judgment, and he actually stopped riding for horses for a while, trying not to have to pay anything. He invested his money wisely as a youngster. He had acquired property in Little Rock, Arkansas, which it also later in history, back in 1999, was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. He was an astute businessman and built a commercial building in Little Rock, which stood till about 1980. He had all kind of liens attached to his property because he ended up being sued by another brother, Charles. Charles ended up selling his home in 1900 and paid off his back real estate taxes, liens, and judgments he owed his brother and another Little Rock businessman. By the start of the 20th century, opportunities to ride for African Americans soon disappeared as stable owners switched to using white riders only. Within a few years, black jockeys who had dominated racing for centuries, who played a major role in bringing thoroughbred racing to the forefront, were forced out of business. Since 1909, no African-American jockey has ridden a winner in any major American graded stakes race. Alonzo Clayton, the youngest jockey to ever win the Kentucky Derby. And for this, Alonzo is a legend.
And we had a very unique Kentucky Derby this past week with winning by a nose and a nose. I mean, it was a photograph finish for all 3 races. I mean, for all 3 places. I don't think they've ever had one as close as that.
They haven't. Not with three horses. No, not ever. What a race! What a race! And anytime the underdog wins, if you bet on them, people make some money.
Were you ever a horse race fan?
No. Not really. I'm not a hater. I covered horses one time when I was up in Minnesota for an internship, and that was pretty cool. But you could see the effort and what they put into it, and why it is so crazy. I mean, wow. They put as much effort into those horses as human athletes do for their sports. It's wild, man. It's wild.
Gene?
Yeah, I know it's a major industry. You know, one of the largest complexes is here in Florida with the World Equestrian Center, and I got a chance to see some behind the scenes of, you know, as Rick mentioned, you know, it's a major, it's several different, you know, kind of, I mean, it's a whole industry of between, you know, shows and the jumping and the, you know, the racing and just everything we've had. And even here in Tallahassee, we had the Red Hills, and that was one of the a great show that was here in Tallahassee that I got a chance to see. We got a chance to see polo matches, and getting a chance to see horses on, like you said, working. They're athletes, and it's a major thing, and it's good to learn that history lesson there.
15 years old. Goodness. Any relation, Coach?
I don't know. He had the ability to make some money. I needed to find out what he did because he was a kind of wealthy guy. But most of my family are big guys, and none of us, by the time we get about past, we're 5 years old, we can't ride no horse. Too big. Now, you want to know a sport that's entertaining if you've never been, and they don't have it here now. It's highline. Have you ever been to highline?
No.
When they're throwing that palata off the wall and stuff, I walked in there the first time, and they were playing highline. My mother and grandmother had me going, and I was like, oh, man, this is pretty tight. So they betting right. So I'm the youngster. They sending me to go make the bets. So I'm going to make the bets. So we got in the car coming back. They were like, my grandmother was fussing. She said, I'd have lost $300. And my mother was like, I lost more than that. I lost $350. I said, well, I won $650. How you won $650? I ain't placed no bets. I put the bets in my pocket. They got mad and
they said, give me my money back.
They said, well, that was actually pretty smart. Now, I just really wondered what you was going to do if one of us had hit. You was about to be killed. But I was going up there and I ain't never going. I go buy some ice cream, buy me a sausage dog. I put the money in my pocket. Well, I was lucky a few times. I got away with a few things. Gentlemen, it's basketball, the NBA playoffs. What's your thoughts?
The Knicks. Wow. I'm just surprised at how they're rolling, and Brunson is really balling. I mean, Minnesota is the darling right now, but them Knicks, wow, they just find a way to win. And Brunson in the fourth quarter is like no pressure and makes plays. I like seeing them play.
That's from Tom Thibodeau. They hated him at first because he was so hard on them and so defensive minded. He was an eternal assistant coach, always the defense specialist. And when he got that job with the Knicks, it took him a few years to instill what he wanted in them, but they don't back off anybody. And this without Julius Randle. Without it. Sports diva, Spike Lee waiting on Reggie Miller in the Garden. And my Cavaliers, boy, I was getting a whole lot of flack with the Orlando Magic. And I said, well, my brother's over there. I said, if them guys don't win, they liable to clean house with everybody. Not just the coach, but the administrative team and everybody. Because the owner in Cleveland doesn't play that. And he's invested a lot of money in them. And for them not to do any better and drop the last regular season game because they wanted to play the Magic. And the Magic almost put them out. If they win one game against the Celtics, it'll be a miracle. Donovan playing hurt. He's getting his work in. But Darius Garland, Evan Mobley got to be stronger. I mean, and Boston playing well anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, they're showing why they're the number one seed. They're just rolling. I mean, they had a little hiccup against Miami, just a little, but man, when Tatum and Brown are going, and now they're getting contributions from Derek White, at least 5 threes in his last 2 or 3 games. They're gonna be a tough out.
And they're playing where they're closing their series out so quick that they get a chance to rest for the next round. They had 6 days rest before they played yesterday, and they close out the Cavaliers soon. They'll have 6 for the next one. So the sooner you finish your work, the better. What'd you say, Gene?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate goal. You win quickly. Win quick.
But so you a Timberwolves fan?
I just like good games. I like seeing, better. I like when they're playing defense, and really, challenging each other. And unfortunately, it's like you don't get that until the playoffs. But I think this is probably the best time of the year, to watch. And I got a chance to see a lot of those players like Edwards played in the actual and some of the events that we've hosted, and seeing some of these guys that were young now playing, winning NBA championships and being in the league at all, is fun to see.
Do you get a chance at your level to kind of see these guys grow as you said, Ant, to see him grow as a kid and then grow up? Do you get a chance? Do you remember them growing up? Okay.
Absolutely. There's kids and players right now that we see that we know, they're going to be players that other people will know. They'll be a household name later. Kind of like Dwayne Bacon and Grayson Allen. These guys played in events that we had when they were young. And, I got a chance to, see those guys up and close and personal, and a lot of other great players. It's fun to see them grow up and play, and then some of them go out to be coaches, some go out to go into other careers, and you get a chance to see them in their most innocent form, and still rise above all of the things that they attract as far as their talent, and still go out and do great things.
Wow. Okay. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate you being here and
Absolutely
being part of this. Gene, friend of the program. We always appreciate you being here.
Well, make sure everyone check out McClay Camps. We got one of our dates is June the 3rd through the 7th, and our other date is July 1st through the 3rd. All elementary and middle school ages are welcome. Check out the website, mcclaycamps.com. And, Coach, thank you as always for having me on. And Rick, always a pleasure to see you.
Gene, always, my brother, always.
Your camp is boys and girls, Coach?
Absolutely. We welcome co-ed, as far as we're going to teach them all the same things, skills and drills, ball handling, shooting, and, ball control, everything that the fundamentals of the game. And we're going to have some competition. So it'll be it's always fun. We always have a great week.
Okay. So you have it for 2 weeks?
No, we have 2 separate weeks. Yes.
Okay. And what are those dates again?
June 3rd through the 7th is the first week. July 1st through the 3rd is the second week.
Okay. And all age groups?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's the way to go, Gene. We appreciate you doing that, and we appreciate you coming on the show and telling us about it. That's a
Absolutely.
Camp. How many years have you had that camp now, Coach?
This will be the 8th. I think we're going into the 8th night season. Because one of the first things I did before we even coached, before I got into coaching a full season, was I came right in and had camp first. And so it's grown every year, and we look forward to having a great summer this year, and continue developing those young guys. So, providing that exposure to our McClay campus, and to our coaching styles and the things that we teach, and just getting those guys going early.
Okay, and what time do your camp run? From when to when?
We go from 9 to 1. So we drop off by 8 o'clock, and we stay to 1.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you hear from Coach Gene Granger, the legend. GBL Basketball and May McClay Basketball. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming on with us, Coach. We appreciate you always.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.
We appreciate you, everybody. We were here, even on live on Instagram today, so we appreciate you. We tried something new. We only got a couple weeks before we have our summer breakdown. We appreciate y'all being with us, and we see Rick Brown. Oh, man, he's all chained up today, y'all. Y'all better watch out. Rick Brown, the legend.
County, see you soon, bros. See you soon.
Kevin.